and welcome to FACE University. My name is Sara Veronica Hernandez, and I am the Migrant Family Engagement Specialist for the Family and Community Engagement Department here at Denver Public Schools. Today at FACE University, we will be giving a Denver Public Schools system overview. On today's agenda, we will be discussing the U.S. education system, Colorado state laws, DPS discrimination, harassment, and language access resources, enrollment, attendance, curriculum, grades, discipline, family engagement, and the Denver Public Schools helpline. We will begin by discussing the U.S. education system. Before we get this presentation started, you will have access to this presentation and all of the slides and information in it. As we go through today's presentation, there will be links in the slides that you will have access to that you can go through and read all the information that is linked to this slide. U.S. Education Federal Laws and Overview. Here are some links that you will be able to access and you will be able to read on your own time once you access these slides. There is a link on Elementary and Secondary Act of 1965, FERPA, Civil Rights, IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Higher Education Act, WIOA, Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, and FAFSA, Financial Federal Aid. U.S. Education Systems Overview. There is universal access, which is education that is required for children in the United States. There is public schools available to all children regardless of immigration status or background. The grade levels, the education system that typically spans from kindergarten around the age of 5 to 12th grade around age 18, with students progressing through elementary, middle, and high school. Public versus private schools. Though there is private schools, public schools are funded by the government and free for all students, while private schools require tuition payment and often have specialized curriculum or religious affiliations. Support services. Schools offer support services such as English as a second language, ESL programming, special education, and counseling to assist students in their academic and personal development. There is also family engagement. Parents and guardians are encouraged to be actively involved in their children's education through parent-teacher conferences, volunteering opportunities, and communication with teachers and schools to support your child's learning journey. State laws here in Colorado. Children in Colorado are encouraged to attend school from ages 4 to 18. Children in Colorado, though encouraged, must attend school from ages 6 to 16. Denver Public School students attend school Monday through Friday, and Denver Public School year begins in August and ends in May or beginning of June. When your child misses school, you must notify the school's front office. Denver Public Schools Discrimination, Harassment, and Language Access Resources. Denver Public School Discrimination and Harassment. Our goal at DPS is that schools that are truly affirming and inclusive for all students. We do not tolerate harassment or discrimination based on protected class. Next, we will cover the protected classes recognized at DPS, the definition of harassment, and examples of harassment. Harassment based on protected class. What does this mean? Protected classes recognized at Denver Public Schools. Race, color, religion, national origin, immigration/citizenship status, ancestry, age, veteran status, disability, or genetic information of an employee. PR, discrimination, prevention, and response. There are board policies, AC, and superintendent regulation, AC-R1, that you'll be able to access and read more in the slide. Title IX. Title IX prohibits sexual harassment and sex-based discrimination. Board Policy AC, Superintendent Regulation AC-R3, and protected classes recognized gender or sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, transgender status, or pregnancy, parenting, or marital status. We only use the DPR process to address harassment and discrimination that implicates the protected classes we recognize at Denver Public Schools. These are all rooted in state and federal civil rights laws. If something concerning happens that does not implicate protected class but needs to be addressed, we will address it via a different process. For example, bullying, Regulation JICDE, or discipline, Regulation JK-R. Harassment based on protected class. What does it continue to mean? Harassment generally means, and remember, we are focusing on students tonight, that it's unwelcoming. There is verbal, written, graphic, physical, or other conduct towards the student. That it is sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive to interfere with a student's ability to participate in district services, activities, or opportunities. You can find this in the hyperlink AC-R1. How to raise a concern. You can always call the FACE helpline at 720-423-3054. Or you can go to your student's school, talk to a school leader, or talk to the DPR designee and or Title IX coordinator. And you can say, we see this as a DPR, and here's why, and explain your concern, and we'd like to talk to the person/team that handles the DPR process. Next up, language access. Your right to meaningful communication here at Denver Public Schools. You have a right to communicate with your school and district in a way you understand and that gives you meaningful access to your students' education. Every family has the right to communicate in the language in which they feel most articulate and powerful. All of our families are empowered to communicate in their preferred language as full stakeholders in their students' education. Translation and interpretation. What is translation and what is interpretation? Here at Denver Public Schools, you have access to both. Translators. We translate written text, books, contracts, websites. Translators do the writing. Interpreters. We interpret spoken or sign language for medical appointments, court proceedings, conferences. Interpreters do the talking. DPS in My Language cards. In every school at Denver Public Schools, you have access to a My Language card in your native language or preferred language. It will read in English, I am a Denver Public Schools parent/guardian, and I want translation and or interpretation services in your preferred language. In this case, this example is in Somali. And on the back, in the Somali language, it will say the same thing. An example of the same language card on the left in the Somali language. But in this case, you can access these cards at your student school in your preferred language. On the front will be the English version, and on the back will be the same thing in your preferred language. Options for communication at school. You generally have a right to a translator or interpreter provided free of charge. A trained, neutral translator or interpreter is better for formal communication about students' behavior/needs. When things are more urgent or less formal, there are still other options. Options for communication at school. You generally have a right to a translator or interpreter provided free of charge. A trained neutral translator or interpreter is better for formal communication about students' behavior/needs. When things are more urgent or less formal, there are still other options. Phone interpretation, a staff member at the school. The school should only be using Google Translate or another app of communication as a last resort. Resources for you. You can utilize your school's front office, the Department of Multilingual Communications, and ways you can contact them is at communications@dpsk12.org or at their phone extension 720-423-3767. You can also access their website at www.dpsk12.org/communication/language-services. Next, we will speak about DPS enrollment. School of choice. At Denver Public Schools, you have a school of choice. Colorado is an open enrollment state, meaning that students can choose to attend their assigned neighborhood school, or they can apply to other public schools within their district or even outside of it. Despite its benefits, open enrollment can be confusing for families who need to manage multiple school applications or multiple deadlines. Here is how to access school of choice and how to utilize this information. First, you will find information about school options for your students using the mobile friendly school finder at schoolfinder.dpsk12.org. You will check out the enrollment guide and you will contact your preferred schools to learn more about their programming and their culture. Then you will apply by submitting your school choice application online. You will create an account at dps.schoolmint.net/sign-in, and then you will sign in and rake your school preferences when the application opens up. You can submit an application during the application times between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And once you apply, you will register to attend your school. Look out for school placement results and contact the school to register for the upcoming school year. Attendance. Excused absences in Denver Public Schools are temporary illness or injury, extended absence due to physical, mental, or emotional disability, pursuing a work study program under supervision of the schools, student attending school sponsored activities, doctor appointments, or other appointments within the community, and you must provide a note for the school that the doctor gives you at your appointments. Tardiness. What is being tardy? When a student comes to school after school has already begun without a note. When a student is tardy, they miss information that is important and they will have to catch up. What is truancy? When a student is absent without a signed excuse, or if the student leaves school or a class without permission of the teacher or administrator in charge, the student will be considered truant. How sick is too sick to stay at home or to go to school? To stay at home, if your student has a fever of 100.4 or higher, has vomited 2 or more times in 24 hours, has a persistent cough, has difficulty breathing, has a sore throat, or trouble swallowing. When is it okay for them to go to school? If they have a small cold with a runny nose or cough, if their eyes are watery without a fever or a mild rash with no other symptoms, if they have a small stomach ache, if they have head lice, or if they have no fever overnight and have not taken any fever reducing medicine during the time. If you do not know whether or not to send your child to school, or you have specific concerns regarding your student's health, contact your healthcare provider, a local urgent care, or you can always contact the school's nurse. You can also access the Denver Health Helpline, which is 720-424-1232. They are available to also assist with any medical health concerns or needs that you or your student may need. Chronic absenteeism. A student who misses 10%, 2 days per month or more, of the time enrolled in school is considered chronically absent. This includes late arrivals and early pickups from school. Reporting an absence. You have two options while reporting an absence if your student is not going to be at school. You can, one, call the school, or two, you can report it in Parent Portal at www.dpsk12.org/page/my-portal. Parent Portal is a tool utilized to access student grades, student information, newsletters, important updates, and your students' grades, as well as reporting absences and tardiness that are excused. Curriculum. Elementary, middle, and high school all have different curriculums and grade level structures. American curriculum consists of 13 years of education where students acquire education from pre kindergarten all the way to 12th grade with English language, arts, math, science, and social studies as the main subjects. In the United States, grade levels are as followed. Elementary school is pre kindergarten through 5th grade. Middle school is 6th grade through 8th grade. High school is 9th grade through 12th grade. And the curriculum for each grade level changes as students progress. Elementary, kindergarten through 2nd grade curriculum, what they will learn is in reading, how to make sounds work, what words and phrases connect, understanding sounds. In writing, they'd learn the alphabet, connecting letters and numbers, spelling, completing short sentences. Numbers, they will learn how to count and read and write numbers, how they sound, and simple adding and subtracting. Shapes and symbols, they'll learn how to name them, draw, create, and recognize them. And they will learn basic history and stories on people and events in our time. 3rd through 5th grade curriculum, in science, they'll learn about Earth, space, life, plant and animal cycles. In history, they'll learn about civics, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, cultures and languages. In reading, they'll learn about writing, summarizing character development, nonfiction development. And in math, they'll learn about measurements, multiplication, division, and fractions. In middle school, 6th through 8th grade curriculum, they'll learn in science about the earth, cells, biology, energy, etc. Social studies, they'll learn about geography, civics, and economics. In numbers, they'll learn about fractions, ratios, equations, algebra. In reading, they'll learn about comprehending literature, nonfiction, analyzing themes, citing. And in writing, they'll learn about research, revising, documenting, journaling, argumentative essays, explanatory texts, and etc. And in high school, 9th through 12th grade curriculum, in reading, they'll identify significant themes, analyze author stance and claims, understand figurative and connotative meanings. In writing, they'll write argumentative, expository, and narrative texts, develop note taking strategies, cite evidence, create infographics. In math, they'll solve algebraic equations and inequalities, use arithmetic with polynomials and rational functions, develop financial literacy skills. In science, they'll research problems, find real life solutions, participate in experimentations. And in social studies, they'll analyze political, social, and economic aspects of past and present nations. How we do grades in Denver Public Schools. Elementary school grades, kindergarten through 5th grade, ages 5 through 10, students are graded on a 4, 3, 2, and 1 scale. 4 is above grade level, 3 is at grade level, 2 is below grade level, and 1 is significantly below grade level. In middle and high school grades, 6th through 12th grade, ages 11 to 18, students are graded on an A, B, C, D, and F scale. A, 90 to 100 is above grade level. B, 80 to 89 is at grade level. C, 70 to 79 is below grade level. D, 60 to 69 is less than satisfactory. F, 0 to 59 is failing a class. The grading windows. They might differ depending on the school that your student is at, but this is what it typically looks like. First trimester grading window, October 28th through November 8th. Second trimester grading window, February 7th through February 21st. Third trimester grading window, May 15th through May 29th. It is important to keep an eye on the grading windows because you will be able to see how your student progresses or the type of supports your student needs if they are falling a little bit behind. Discipline here at Denver Public Schools. When should discipline be used? Discipline should be considered as a last resort after exploring alternatives such as interventions and restorative practices at the schools and with the students. Discipline Board Policies JK and JK R. The guidance is rooted in federal and state statutes and local ordinances. It assures consistency across all schools in the district. The guidance aims to provide equity across racial, ethnic, and cultural groups, as well as all other protected classes. The guidance aims to allow students to develop their skills, knowledge, and competencies in a nurturing and accountable school setting. The guidance aims to refrain from interrupting a student's education to the greatest extent possible. If discipline must be used, Denver Public Schools prioritizes the rights of students with diverse abilities and backgrounds. The DPS disciplinary policies aim to address biases, correct imbalances, and apply discipline with an anti bias and trauma conscious approach. Family engagement. What is family engagement here at Denver Public Schools? It can look like a bunch of different opportunities: parent teacher conferences, back to school nights, informational sessions, Emily DAX, which stands for Multilingual Education, District Advisory Committees, PACs, which are Parent Advisory Committees at your student schools, school and district newsletters, being in communication and contact with the family liaisons, social events, and Face University. Family Constituency Services and the District Helpline. Family Constituency Services, through the helpline, will provide support to general inquiries regarding DPS, transfer calls to the appropriate department, and help clarify policies. As needed, Family Constituency Services provides intensive assistance and support meeting facilitation between callers and school leaders. They provide mediation services as needed or requested by the schools, and they train school personnel on best practices and strategies for de escalation. Here is how you can contact the Family Constituency Services at 720-423-3054, or you can email them at facehelpline@dpsk12.org, available to you all the time. Here is a QR code to this presentation with the links and resources that we have presented. If you scan this code, you will have access to this presentation and you will be able to keep this with you, read through the information, and access all the links and resources we have provided. If you have any questions or if you have any clarifications that you are needing, feel free to reach out to us. We are here for you. Reach out to Jasmine Rigby at her email, jasmine_rigby@dpsk12.net. Here is how you can stay in touch. You can go to our Face University website at face.dpsk12.org/page/face-university, on our YouTube channel at DPS Face University, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/family and community engagement. Keep an eye out on our calendar for events and more Face University topics. Or you can, again, contact Jasmine Rigby, our lead family empowerment Title I specialist, at jasmine_rigby@dpsk12.net, or at her phone extension, 720-423-3915. Title I supports. If you want to join our email list, feel free to scan this QR code and you will receive monthly Face University newsletters containing family-focused resources, updates, and opportunities from Denver Public Schools and our many community partners. You will also have the opportunity to earn free tickets to various Denver locations by completing surveys and attending different sessions. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that this information has been useful and helpful to you. Again, feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns, and we are here for you. Have a good rest of your day.